You've had the meeting, you set the goals, you cast the vision, you sent the memo. But 3 weeks later, the work is being done. You may think that you have a people problem. You may have a language or a syntax problem. Your words are the code. If your language is buggy, then your culture will crash. We define true impact. Forget the quarterly check. From the mission statement to the corporate debt. You gotta lead with strategy. You gotta own your why. We're moving beyond the bottom line and reaching for the sky. We're moving beyond the bottom line with Dr. Lee. Welcome to Beyond the Bottom Line with Dr. Lee, and I'm your host, Dr. Lee, and let's get it started. You've had the meeting, you set the goals, you cast the vision, you sent the memo, but 3 weeks later, you see that none of the work is being done. You are frustrated, and your team is confused. You may think that you have a people problem, but you may have a language or a syntax problem. It's not so much as how you say things, contrary to popular belief, but sometimes the problem can be actually what you said. In computer programming and in informatics, syntax is very important. Syntax is the language. For instance, syntax is sort of like grammar in language. So if you're coding a project, if you miss a semicolon, if you miss a comma, then the code won't work. It won't do what you've instructed it to do, although you thought you gave clear instructions. Leadership is the same. If your language is buggy, then your culture will crash. So today on this episode, we're going to talk about the language of leadership. Let's go beyond the bottom line. We are drowning in what I like to call semantic noise. Basically, semantic noise is just using a lot of words to really say nothing. For instance, to say that we're going to do this, that, and go around there and be here and blah, 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 and hope to come up with a solution. Now, did what I say make sense? Did you follow it? Was it clear? If the answer is no, then there's a language problem. What if your leadership looks the same way? In the corporate world, it's the land of buzzwords. For instance, saying we need to expand and capitalize our bandwidth so that we can circle back around to recapture the low-hanging fruit. In the ministry world, we have our own dialect. I call it Christianese. Sort of like saying, well, we're just waiting on this next season of refreshing to walk out this fellowship. And everyone's looking around like, okay, what does that mean? What are we doing on Tuesday? Can we make it make sense? Sometimes when we're in our own head and we don't clearly articulate our thoughts, we understand that the math just isn't mathing. When you speak in code, you create a barrier. You have an in group and an out group, where you have some people that totally get what you're saying, and then you have another group that is alienated. It feels like they showed up late to the party. In our actuality, from a team perspective, you create execution drag. If your team has to spend 20 minutes decoding your email, then you're losing work. You're losing money. Clarity is not just a nice to have. Clarity is a necessity. Ambiguity is an enemy of productivity. Let's go a little deeper. It's not just about being clear. It's also about how you frame it. In informatics, the way that you label a data set determines how the algorithm processes it. So if you label it correctly, the algorithm will execute the program correctly, effectively, efficiently. The way you label a situation determines how your team feels about it. Let's take a look at the same situation with two different labels. Label A, we failed. Label B, we're still collecting data. If you say we failed, the team executes shame, guilt, fear, defeat. If you say we're still collecting data, the team executes pivot, analyze, grow. The scripture says that the life and death are in the power of the tongue. So, as a leader, you have to be able to speak life, because if you don't, you can actually speak death. Your words can kill a vision or it can birth a destiny. Which one will you choose as the leader? So, how do we fix this? You need what I like to call the leadership lexicon. Protocol 1, the plain language protocol. I want you to do something. Look at your last email and highlight every buzzword, every acronym, every spiritual filler, and notate how many times you use them. And then after you've done that, I want you to replace those filler words, those acronyms, those buzzwords with plain English and see if that makes a difference. Because if you cast a vision and no one can perform it, no one can execute it, then is it really a vision or is it a hallucination? Protocol 2, the we shift. I want you to notate your pronouns and how you use them. When things go good, do you say, look what I did? I accomplished this. I obtained this. I reached that goal. Or do you say we? And when things go bad, do you say, we did poorly? We didn't meet our goal. We failed. Or do you say you? If you notice that you're taking the credit when everything goes well and you're diverting blame when everything goes bad, try to shift that. And instead of saying, I accomplished the goal, I did amazingly excellent, say, you all did. You did wonderful. Or we did wonderful. Try making it more collaborative as opposed to I and you. Protocol 3, the vision cast. Never give a command without a reason. I like to call it the so that. So, for instance, instead of saying, I need everyone to stay late tonight, try saying, I need everyone to stay late tonight so that our client can get the best version of this product by tomorrow. The so that protocol gives purpose to the plan. When you change your language, you change the energy of the room. When you try to sound smart, you may impress people. But when you operate in clarity, give clear instructions, you cause people to move. Let me show you what happens when a company completely overhauls its communication syntax. The year was 2004, and the CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, sent out a memo that rocked the company to its core. No more PowerPoint presentations in meetings. Instead of bullet points and slides, Amazon now mandated that each meeting would start with a 6-page narrative written in full sentences, and that the first 15 to 30 minutes of the meeting would be spent in silence reading the 6-page narrative. The resistance was immediate. The executives argued that PowerPoint was more efficient and that the 15 to 30 minutes spent reading in silence would make the meetings longer, would make it be more work on the executives' during the preparation for the meetings, and they just didn't like it. But Bezos understood something. Unclear thinking leads to unclear communication, which also leads to bad decision making or poor decision making. Here's what the narrative format forced teams to do. They had to really, really think about what they were presenting about. It is impossible to write a clear, coherent 6-page narrative about a half baked idea. And so they had to really put thought, put effort into what they were presenting about, and it enhanced their communication. Within 2 years, Amazon reported dramatic improvements. A 47% improvement in decision making effectiveness, a 38% reduction in scope creep and miscommunication, a 31% faster implementation of strategic decisions, and a 52% increase in successful new product launches. But here's the most important outcome: the quality of decisions got better. When you have to articulate your thoughts in clearly written sentences, bad ideas often expose themselves, and good ideas get stronger with the writing process. Every strategic decision that Amazon made, from alternative workspace to Alexa, started off as a clearly written 6-page narrative. So other companies today, like Shopify and Basecamp, have a writing first mentality also. And they've incorporated that into the DNA and the fabric of their companies. And they make strategic decisions that are based on clearly written out details from clearly thought out projects. Right, we're headed into the nightcap. Sometimes the tongue is what keeps leaders up at night. As a leader, you should know that you have the power to speak life, you have the power to speak death. You can say something that can ruin a person's whole week. You can say something that can revive a person's dead dream. So, as a leader, you have to be aware of the power that you possess. You've got to lead with strategy. You've got to own your why. Your why, a lot of times, is your vision. If it stays within you, if you don't clearly articulate it, if you don't speak life into it, then it dies with you. Think about your last conversation as a leader. Did you build or did you break? You have more power than you realize as a leader. If you speak chaos, your team is going to hear chaos. If you speak clarity, your team is going to have clarity. On tonight, think about your last conversation. Did you build or did you break? Did you code a glitch or did you decode a problem? I dare you to speak life. I dare you to operate in clarity. I dare you to continue to go beyond the bottom line.